Hey guys, Dylan, Better Basements and Waterproofing. If you have gotten a bid from us in the last couple of years, then there's a high likelihood that we have sent you a YouTube video from a waterproofer on the East Coast, the Midwest, or even one of our own. We are not super geniuses, so we say that same silly gimmick all the time. We're not super geniuses. Waterproofing has been proven. That's why we like it so much. So I got a video playing right here from Peter O'Shea, American Dry Basement Systems. He is a legend. I love his stuff. It's super obvious. Some of the videos and examples that we do are stolen from him. I mean, he's just great. And I really look up to the way he does business and sales. He does some stuff that, I don't like. I think some of the stuff gets a little gimmicky. But I wanted to kind of get into it a little bit and kind of show some of the stuff that we're talking about and kind of give my comments. So there's a high likelihood that one of our salesmen, we call them project advisors, one of our project advisors will send this very video right now to you. And I just kind of wanted to reiterate some of the things and elaborate on some of the things he's going to talk about. It's smart that doing this is one of the best decisions we've made. It's because it kind of shows that you're not really trusting us in the sciences behind it. It is proven. We will keep your basement dry. You will move on with your life. Period. And Peter is really good. They get on the East Coast. Those gutter systems, those box systems, if you got one or maybe even two bids from one of our bigger competitors, it's the same exact thing. The same thing. There are a lot of these versions. There's about 2 or 3 big versions of them, and they all claim to be proprietary. And he really gets into it. Really good. So let's listen to it a little bit.
Pieces that are called elements that absorb the heat and disperse the heat into the room. So we have some flexibility, so we can.
He's talking right now about this heating element. Doesn't matter, but these are really, really common. And what he does talk about really well is how they are nothing more than the ability to save a fortune on labor and material. He gets a little hyperbolic here.
The system that we're about to tear out here. It's a very low volume system, and it's set up in a way that makes it very difficult for the water to travel through it to get to over where the pump station is. And as it gets here, it has to make a 90-degree turn, and then it goes out and stops, and then isn't even connected. As you'll see, I already know we haven't even broken out the concrete. You're going to see it has to work its way by itself, get all the way over to here, do another right angle, work its way this way and around this wall, and then there's another grate over here that has the same type of setup where it's not a continuous system. Get through that and work its way over to the pump. And it's going to be very clear as we tear the system out just what you don't want to do when you're.
So what he means when he talks about a continuous system is that these drains, they come in these 6-foot sections. Some of the other videos he gets into it really well, and he shows it, and they're these like 6-foot sections. They just expose a footer, they put it on it, and they just put them together. And some of them, we pull them out, not as often as he does, but we do pull them out pretty regularly. They literally are just taped together. And then in the corners are another separate section. So when he means they're not continuous, what he's trying to say is that when we put a pipe down under the ground, the trench is fully continuous, is all he's trying to say.
Where they re-cemented to put their system in all the way along there, that's because this floor has been taken off the footing and it lost the support of that footing. And in so doing, this floor can move and settle, and then it's not going to be supported by the re-cementing of the floor. If you look, there, as we take out the pieces of concrete, that floor that they re-cemented back on is about that thick. So it's not giving any support to the existing or the main body of the floor. So this is a structural defect, a flaw in this particular type of system, but especially when you apply it to a traditional 3-piece foundation that really requires that you keep that floor on that ledge of the.
So what he's saying is that they are coming out further because this particular, let's call it franchise or whatever you want to call them. This particular contractor over there, they only went just off the footer, and then they put their silly thing right here. That's pretty uncommon. The competitors that we see, they do not. I've never seen that. Praise the Lord. I've never seen that. And it doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's junk still. So what he's saying is that they came out here, they put it here, and then it started sinking because there's nothing below it. Yeah, maybe. I could see that. But that's what he's trying to talk about.
Footing, and it's really nice to have that floor up against and holding the walls out. Oh my.
So, add. So the something I don't like is that he talks about it holding the walls out. It's, you know, it's because he's setting himself up for what they call their engineering tabs. Let me make it super clear. I'm not saying he's wrong. What I am saying is that Peter O'Shea, from what I can see, is the only person who does that. When they pour these foundations, this footer gets poured down on undisturbed soil, clay. They dig down with an excavator, and this gap right here is 6 feet wide, right? So they pour the footer, they let it dry, and then in this example, they have blocked foundations. We don't really have those in Portland. Also, praise the Lord, they suck. So then they let this dry, and then they come in and then they'll pour the wall. They let that dry. And then they'll pour the floor on top of the footer. So the house gets its structure from this footer and from the wall. That's where we're going to differ, and where we're going to say that we do have homeowners because they watched a Peter O'Shea video, they'll want to do his engineering tab, and you know what, we'll do it. But there are hundreds of homes every day, and dozens and dozens of contractors across the world, hundreds, not doing that without problems. So let me make that very clear. Him and this radiant. So the two-piece. So he's talking about, you know, how wide their trenches are.
Another floor underneath that. So we have two floors that we're dealing with, and the original company only came in, chipped away a little bit of the
So this is true. So they're talking about here, what we do see, not super common, what is common though, is that you have your original concrete floor. In a lot of instances, especially in Portland, that floor might be 100 years old. So a contractor will wrongly just come in and pour a new slab on top of it, and then a waterproofer will come in and just remove the top floor. And they don't realize that because they're not used to doing proper wide drainage. So that's his engineering tab, by the way, where he claims that you need to do. And you see how deep it is right there. So the reason why they didn't see that in the first place is because they're not going wide like that. And we even go wider. I think Peter O'Shea says they do 12 inches wide.
Was a gutter that actually sat right here against the wall, and then had this cemented over with about an inch of concrete on top of it, maybe an inch and a half or so. And then we're going to compare it now to what drainage is really needed in order to address the type of water problem that this property has. Okay, so I'm going to dig down and show you where our drainage is, and then you're going to understand where we put our drainage. The water can't get anywhere near the bottom of the floor, let alone the entire floor sit in water. Concrete porous, it absorbs out water, so you constantly have a damp floor. We eliminate from that ever being a possibility tenfold when you see where our drainage is.
Same thing with us. Same thing with any good waterproofer. This isn't that special. Let me make it clear. It's good, but it ain't unique. And see right there, there's the...
But here's the top of the floor. Here's where our drainage is. That's a 4-inch pipe. So we go down there, we even have some stone, significant amount of stone down in the trench below where that pipe is. So we have an enormous amount of drainage here. Water can't get anywhere near the bottom of the floor. And with this particular foundation, we ended up with a trench that was this wide.
So this is what I don't like that he does a lot. He says this particular foundation, it's the wrong thing for this foundation, the wrong thing for this type of foundation. Let me make it clear. It is the wrong thing for every foundation. Full stop. What he has here in his arm that he rips out and that you probably got a bid for is nothing more than a cold joint diverter. Nothing more, nothing less, all right? So when he's saying it's the wrong thing for this foundation, it's good sales. It's kind of old school kind of way, being like, hey, look, ours is custom for your foundation. Whatever. So just keep that in mind. When he's talking about your foundation, this foundation, it's the wrong one for your foundation too. Okay.
And this deep, and we put in, from what I understand, 275-gallon buckets of stone, whereas the original drainage system, this gutter system that was put in, had little to no stone. I would imagine the entire system around all 4 walls had less than 1 bucket of stone.
I roll there.
The difference between...
However, big eye roll there. 1 bucket of stone, they did 275. That's ridiculous. So say we do 140 feet of waterproofing. So when we talk about linear footage and waterproofing, we're talking about how many feet around your basement, right? So say 140 feet is a pretty standard size for a full basement. 140-foot basement, probably 5 to 6 yards. I think one of my production director will probably roll his eyes at me, but it's about that, 5 or 6 yards of gravel. A lot of gravel that we carry in by 5-gallon buckets, right? If we're doing 5 to 6 yards, this thing that he's holding in his hand is not going to be 1 bucket. All right, he's being hyperbolic. I don't like that. It'll probably, it's probably. So 5 to 6 yards is, probably 400 buckets. It's probably 50. It really is. It's that bad, but it's not 1. So let's not be hyperbolic.
There's a stark difference. And you can see why our super dry system is going to get this basement completely dry when this gutter system just never had a chance to do what it was proposed to do, and that's give these people a dry basement.
Super dry. Ours is the better
dry. The super dry system is because of the amount of volume of drainage that we put in, we have a significant area in order to work with. So even though we put the pump over there and there's another pump back over there, if you saw there was our
So we do the same thing. It's pretty, I don't want to say it's common, but it's not uncommon. We do the same thing.
Discharge pipe is through here and then it's coming up and going out the wall, even though our pump is all the way over there. We're able to run the discharge line in our trench, our drainage trench, underneath the floor, so it's really nice and clean. It's a nice finished product when we're done. We have the whole floor sealed up. You can't see any discharge line. It's not running across the ceiling. It's not.
Yeah, and we see that a lot. And if you see some of our other videos, you'll probably see that when we rip them out. It's crazy to me that everyone doesn't do this. It is so obvious. And what we do see is that some of these companies that used to do good work, like what we're doing, and then they sign their soul away to these horrible, don't even get me started, that they used to do side discharges and now they don't because they have their super special proprietary sump basin. It's a joke, okay? It's a gimmick. It's a total joke. There's no reason why you shouldn't be doing a side discharge. It makes it super slick. It makes it quiet. Premier Basement Waterproofing, Mike at Premier Basement Waterproofing in Connecticut pushes the same thing. It's really, really great. And it makes it quiet. It keeps moisture down. It keeps noise down. And most importantly, you can put things on top of it. So it's really, really, really nice. So the only reason why someone isn't doing a side discharge, as far as I can tell, is because whatever product that they are using for their basins doesn't allow it. And the only reason I allow it is because they signed their soul to something. All right, I'll stop there. Because I'm sure there are great people who aren't doing it. That's why I'm stopping.
Not to mention right now we have a lot of melting snow and things like that. So the homeowner is trying to keep this area as little extra water as possible. So we have to do something really, shall we say, difficult and work its way into the front yard. It's a little higher elevation, so we have to dig further down into the ground, create our discharge, go from 1.5 inches to 4 inches after our bubble line. We're going to create a nice, good-sized stone field in which to discharge this water to. But the real nice attribute is we're able to have a pump over there.
We do similar there.
The trench and actually come up on a wall that's.
We don't do corrugated pipe outside. We do ABS.
Together, the ears match up and actually make another core. And these cores will line up and down the wall, creating like a hollow cylinder inside the wall. So when water absorbs from your backfill area into the wall, it only has to go about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches till it hits that hollow core and fills up inside of the block. And that's a problem. The way we address it is we tap what we call weep holes into the block, into those hollow cores, and we'll leave where the water joints are, because that's where another core is.
So not common in the Northwest, but we do the same thing when the rare chance we do get around to it. Those things hold water like really bad. And sometimes they drill them. We've seen them drilled and water just pours out of them. And actually, that cold joint diverter that he was installing, or the polycove is what we call it, is the same exact product that we use. I can almost guarantee that we use the same supplier. There aren't very many suppliers in this very niche world, so we use the same exact supplier. Good stuff. Really good stuff here. And of course, we got another commercial. I hope this is helpful. He's great. You're going to come across his stuff if you start going down your own YouTube rabbit hole. So that's why I wanted to do some of this little voiceover stuff. So the only difference that we're going to be in this sort of thing is going to be kind of our approach to sales. He talks a lot. He has some buzzwords that he uses, but the science behind it, the efficacy behind it is super high. And we probably have a little differing opinions, but that's all they are. They are opinions. And we talk about him, and we show his stuff because there's so much. And look at all that. It's the same stuff on the West Coast. It's the same crap. It's the same scam. It's the same ripoff, because that stuff right there usually comes with a lifetime warranty. And what he talks about here is that it was probably the same price.
Or like I said, it's going to grow in and reconstruct the floor back into one piece of concrete again. We're going to use our Supercrete product. A whole lot of stuff going on. And this system that we tore out didn't come even close to providing what this particular foundation needed to get it dry and to keep it strong.
This foundation stuff, whatever. The reason why I get so upset about it, why we get so passionate about it, is because what we see is these sort of things. They come with the fancy brochures. They come with some guy that they mail you all this heavy marketing stuff, and it's fine. Look, we don't knock big business. We hope Better Basements gets big too, and we hope that our marketing is super professional, really high level. It's that it is not results-based guarantee. It is you are buying this product right here. This product that's piled up in this guy's yard that he spent probably $15,000, $20,000 to install. And guess what? He's paying Peter O'Shea $15,000, $20,000 to install the right thing that should have been done once. So we get upset because I've had this conversation. So we're trying to narrow down this conversation so we can, yes, of course, get some more business, but it's in your best interest, because what you're paying for is this. You're paying for that. You're not paying for the results. When you're working with a reputable contractor like Better Basements, like American Dry Basement Systems, like Premier Basement, like Drycrete, like the Real Seal in Chicago, there's dozens. I could keep going. What you're buying from them, what you're buying from us, is a dry basement. What you're buying from these companies is what? It's that product there, not the results. You're not paying for the results. I don't care what that salesman told you about their warranty. People aren't ripping these out. There aren't hundreds of videos on YouTube, and we're not ripping these out because people are standing behind the warranties. They're ripping them out because it doesn't work, because the warranties have so many outs in them. All right? So I'm going to do more of these top voiceovers. I hope they're helpful. And I also hope that my flippantness, my abrasiveness is more endearing than it is anything. This is just the way I know how to teach. This is the way I know how to do sales. And my passion comes out in funny ways, okay? If you want someone to massage you and to tell you that, hey, it's going to be okay, or yeah, it's not talked bad about, our competitors, hey, that's ridiculous. When you have people selling this stuff, it's a lie. It's nothing more than that. So we can keep your basement dry, and we can keep it dry forever. All right? Let's catch you on the next one.